Hello, my fine brothers and sisters out there in the world. I am here as a source of light that you all can use through all these unknown, uncertain, fearful, potentially fearful times. Everybody's probably feeling differently about things. So it's hard to really put it all into one. I can put it all into one, but I can't take what everybody is feeling and address it as one, obviously. I can tell you my experiences. I can explain who I am and why I am here for you. So, let's see. My name is Witch Ray Bluebird. So, if you don't know which way to go, you can look on my channel and there's a little blue bird there. And it's really cool because there's two pictures. There's one of the bluebird still and there's one of the bluebird in flight. And with the bluebird, when the bluebird is still, when I look at this bluebird, I see and feel so much going on in him. And it's one of the ways, or just one of the parts that we need to kind of lean towards to kind of work through this new world we're facing. So that's why I put it there. That was my intention behind it, just because it is one of the foundations of what we need to call our new foundations. The good thing about it and me and now and here is that it's simple. I'm here to make things simple. I'm here to make things understood how it is so simple and basic. And going along with that theme is going to bring you along into the new world, I believe, because that is where the planet is trying to take us and trying to show us, trying to teach us. It just so happens, and who knew? I didn't know. With this new way of life for everyone, and we don't know what that new way is yet. It's just turning into a new way. We know that. I don't know, maybe everybody's thinking it's not going to be that it's just going to be this one event, and then we're going to just turn back into the way that things were. And I'm going to bet that is not the case at all. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. And you're like, well, why should we believe what you're saying? And you'll learn why. You'll learn why. I could tell you, for one, that I have been studying astrology and such topics that surround surround it, and the universe and the planets and the movements are designed in a way that are so magnificently fine-tuned as you would fine-tune a guitar to play music. There's movements and transits and conjunctions and very technical terms, and it, you know, as much as I stay with it and listen to it, I could never relay it as it should be. But I can tell you that there's a beautiful pattern that is out there, and we're all part of that. So that's a beautiful thing right there. I'm here to bring you the essentials, the basics, and the simplicity of life that is actually what makes it so beautiful, to get us through anything. I don't know about you guys, and again, everybody's going to be somewhere different doing different things, but I have been bombarded with all of these new, you know, nobody has anything else to do, I guess, so everybody is online offering these new master classes and programs, and they just seem very elaborate. And, you know, how are we going to now, you know, you sign up for this class and we're going to learn how to tap into our spirituality by doing these types, you know, there's all these outlines and guidelines and kind of studies to follow. And I don't know if you guys have seen any of that and are drawn to any of it, but excuse me, I am drawn to the spiritual realm of life, and I am not interested in anything that they're offering because I think it's all coming from a real good place. It's just put together a little strangely. So anyway, I just, again, to put all that aside, to keep it not confusing, if you don't know which way to go, you know, if you're sitting home in fear, that's, you know, that's where we should actually start off, is where have you made the choice to go? You do know that you have the choice to decide whether or not you're going to be in a state of fear or not. If you're not going to, there's a lot of other options, actually more than ever, because we have time. And it's actually, it's a very healthy, beautiful time. Clearly, besides what's the opposite of, no. The other side of the catastrophe and the pandemic and the disaster and the horrible illness and pain and suffering that people are going through right now. It's incredibly unfortunate and heart-wrenching and unfair. But for us that are not sick and that are not suffering, we are in a different place. So we can acknowledge that just as much as you can acknowledge the other. So we can acknowledge, but then there's also acknowledging and then placing yourself in a state of being And that's where the choice comes in. So if you feel this sense of, okay, I don't know what I'm doing now because everything that I've done up until now has been taken from me. So I may feel lost and scared. And so what have we been conditioned and programmed to do is to follow the media, because the media is going to tell us what to do. And everybody's always trusted that. Right? That's right. Is that right? Is that how you feel? Is that what's been going on? You know, I intended to do videos, and I did. Before even the pandemic broke out, I was made aware that there was going to be big changes coming in 2020, and I wanted to bring this about then, before this even took place. But for whatever reasons, we're here now. I think as an individual, I'm a little bit different than some. I'm not sure how to really explain that yet. So again, maybe that'll be something that you'll come to and realize and learn on your own if you stick with me here, which I think you should, because I've been led and shown and directed here from so many places. Again, my antennas and my receptors are out always and more than ever now. And I've been led here. So we can do anything. We can do anything here. But the basics, I want to start off with the basics and how learning some basic things, simple basic things that we may have gotten past us, will bring us back to a solid footing now. The reason why I know that is because it is just a way of living that I've always lived. It just felt natural within myself. It just comes with my design. I didn't even realize that it was what it was until I've taken a deep dive into self-discovery. And to me, it's just me. So it's even hard for me to but to really put it in place in this what's it called? It's just on the tip of my tongue. In this staging, what's it called? In this, oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts. In this genre, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, we have a couple things to take notice of first. Okay, there's a couple of core things that we want to think about. One is we have the option to decide whether or not we want to be in a state of fear. And this is something I've always lived by, this rule, you know, I make a choice. You have the choice. Is this going to be a horrible, terrible, dramatic, awful thing that I'm going to complain about and I'm going to submerge myself in and I'm going to just feel horrible about it all the time? Or am I going to make the choice to say, okay, this is happening. I can choose to take the good out of it and make the best out of it. And that's something I've just always done naturally. So I think that's why one of the reasons why I can help here for you guys, for us, for everybody, for now, for me too. So one thing that is crucial, and I'm gonna go back to the fear. So the fear, how many people are sitting in front of the TV, watching the TV 25, 75 to 95% of the day? How many of you are doing that? Okay, maybe check in every day and see what's up. The new numbers, the new statistics, any new rules or laws, what's going up, down, which way are we going? But at this point, that's all that's necessary. Is there another reason? Am I missing something that you need to sit in front of the television all day? And you know, a couple weeks have gone by now, so things might be different. I know in the beginning it was probably a little bit more of a panic, but you know, so there's that. So fear, does anybody know what the definition of fear is? You know, fear is projecting thoughts. What is fear? Thought forms that project future moments. Thought forms that project future moments. Well, guess what? I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. The earth can explode and we could all be gone in 4 seconds. Nobody knows the future. Nobody knows the future. There's no way to know the future. So why sit there and project future moments that are going to be bad for you? There's no good reason to do that. We have control over ourselves, our future, and our decisions. So, is it the uncertainty? If it's uncertainty and it's fear, don't sit in front of the television and let the media just drive into your brain all of these concepts and ideas and negative thoughts and statistics, and because then you live that becomes your reality, and then you project that out into the world, and whatever you project out into the world comes back to you. So there's that number one thing. Don't choose fear. Number two, and this could be another reason for fear, you need to get an inner guidance with it. You need to find who you are. You need to figure out who you are. What's your truth? Who are you? Who is your being? How do you feel when you're alone? When you're alone by yourself? Is it scary? Can you do that? Do you do that? How much time do you spend alone? You have to identify your being, and you have to know how to do that. This is vital for being able to handle more changes that are only coming. This is just the start. This is just it's so strange because I'm talking to such a broad spectrum of people that I don't even know, and I am giving you my projections and thoughts and ideas, and it's strange. So give me a second to kind of ease into this, because not what I've ever done before. In this, what's the word? Does anybody come up with the word yet? In this, what's the word? I'm going to say setting. In this, it's another word. All the things that I'm going to speak about, I've done and I do and I live, but not in this way where I've just spoke about it to you that I don't know through a phone and camera that goes out to the world. So that part, if you could just bear with me, we'll get it down and we're going to be good. So we are going to, we know what fear is. We're going to try to keep out of it. We're going to try to figure out our individuality and identify with our truth. You need to have that for everything. You need to be okay without anything. That's how you'll know who you are. You will be okay without anything, without anybody, without perhaps shelter. I mean, we don't want that, and we're not projecting that, but it's an example. Break through some of your everyday thought patterns. That was something I had a little bit of a struggle to work on. Just those like everyday, like programmed type of behavior patterns that you just do because you think you're supposed to, and they're on the to-do list, but you never get them all done, and I always end up in a place of frustration and aggravation, and they don't get me anywhere. So I've really used the time here now and before now to work on that kind of stuff. And I've brought myself to a higher state of being that has really been great, that we'll talk about another time. So back to the simplicity and the basics of it, I think we're used to using a lot of head in our everyday game. A lot of where I get my information from, I think I mentioned this, is the astrologers and following it as I do, not being an astrologer, but just being incredibly fascinated by it all. So if you listen to it and you follow it, it only makes sense. It's not up for debate. It just is. So it all fits together with what's going on. So it's kind of a guideline I'm following, along with just the person that I am and how I've lived my life up until now, and finding out what my purpose is here and now. So, a good way of being able to get a grip over yourself. That doesn't sound very nice, but I've had to say that to myself recently, so I think that's where it came from. I've gone through some difficult times in the past couple years, to say it nicely, so I've had to say to myself, listen, you usually get a grip over yourself a lot quicker, so you better get a grip. But a good way to get a grip is to be able to center yourself and calm yourself, and also to practice a little bit of stillness. When you can do that, that feels really good too. And then that leads you to a place of being able to connect. And then the things that we have available to us to connect to are endless and abundant and lovely, beautiful, and delightful. And it's really all we need. So that's where the simplicity comes back into the game. So if we can get ourselves to a comfortable place within our mind and our body and our soul, put it all together as one, come to a calm and a centering. From there, oh, the places you will go. What's that Dr. Seuss book? I always love that. Oh, the places you will go. It's a great book. I have to give it to every little child you know. Oh, the places you will go. Yep, that's it. So we want to be able to get out of the fear. We want to be able to identify with ourselves. Perhaps practice some new patterns. Maybe identify what things you might want to change in yourself that causes you anxiety or discomfort or fear or discomfort. Did I say that? And then maybe just do one little thing at a time. This time has been given to us for such great things. I knew that in the beginning, and now as time has gone by, things change, and I'm sure you've all changed as the weeks have gone by since the beginning of all this. But I have really seen so many different things come my way. And this time is precious. I mean, think about it. How many times before this time did you pray and hope to not have to go to work? For me, personally, I don't work well with time, schedule. My personal journey right now needs the time to just expand and grow and learn and settle and simmer, practice just being. That's a good one. I love to just be. Have you ever just gotten up in the morning and just followed your inner guidance to wherever it takes you, not knowing, not going to the to-do list? That's fun. I have a hard time doing it. I can go with it for a little while, but and then there's yoga. Strongly suggest yoga. Breathing, stretching, connecting, aligning. Some of the most wonderful things that we have here. and they're at our access at any time. We don't need to have anything else but ourselves. So I'm going to leave you guys with that stuff to think about for now. And hopefully we're going to connect here. No, not hopefully. We're going to connect here. And I am going to be a source of light for you that can help in many ways. I don't need to list them now. I'm going to leave you with that for now. I hope everybody is safe and sound and with loved ones and loving yourself and loving everything that is around you and just stopping, relaxing, watching, be an observer, being a calm observer is almost like being a king. I like that. I'm going to leave you all with that. If you have watched me here, I want to thank you, and I would love it if you would like and subscribe, because guess what? This is my first video, really. Now I have one out there. I don't know. It's my beginning. So let's start together and have a good time. See, we can dance. I love dancing. Like, I could totally break out in a dance right now, but you guys aren't ready for that blue bird yet. I love you all. I hope you're well. Peace.